hung out with the girls. Always hung out with the girls. Always hung out with the girls. The girls, they accepted me.
Hey, welcome to the Fluid Voice. I am Ozma In The Dark, and I am here with everyone here. I'm utilizing she, they pronouns for the purposes of running a show. Christy, how are you doing? Okay, one moment. For some reason now the sound decides to hate me. Okay, hey everyone. Okay, say stuff now. Sorry, nobody could hear you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm on top of stuff today.
This is Christy. I'm doing fine. I'm utilizing she, her pronouns for the purposes of knowing when to shut up.
And we are here as usual with Joey. How are you doing, Joey?
Oh, I am doing quite well today. It's been a nice, uneventful day so far. I'm using they, them pronouns for the purposes of world domination. Not really, but that's what I like to say.
And we are here with Isaiah again. How are you, Isaiah?
I'm good. Unlike Joey, my day was not uneventful because I had to work at McDonald's today, and that was terrible. So, oh god, it was bad. Just really fast paced, really shitty coworkers I had to work with. Like when I would ask them, like, "Hey, do you need this McChicken made?" They just ignore me. They also wanted me to do all the work. They did that while one girl was watching The Wiz, the black Wizard of Oz movie. She was watching The Wiz on her phone in the kitchen. I was like, God, it's like, damn, you guys are good. Because this is my phone here. It's like it's a Metro PCS phone. It's all greased up and filmy, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, the important part is it the Diana Ross version or the I forget who played this in the second movie because it was terrible.
Oh, I don't know. I'm actually really bad at black cinema. I know, right? Because I've just felt so not welcome in the black community being autistic. I'm just like, I'll just steal all the shit white people took from us and just make it mine, like rock and roll.
Oh, there you go.
So today we are talking about I guess autism and Elon, and I added threads on there just in case anyone wanted to talk about that because that relates to Elon and it's funny, but nobody has to talk about that if they don't want to.
Someone said Threads. That's a movie about nuclear war in the United Kingdom. I don't know if anyone knows about that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's a pretty graphic one too. So don't eat and watch that movie because I've seen it like twice. It's pretty bad. It's bleak. So Threads is a movie about nuclear war in Great Britain. So yeah, I don't know if you guys know that.
I mean, I didn't, but Threads might, for all we know, Threads, the social media site, might be as damaging.
Oh. Yeah, is that what I was going to ask what you meant when the time was right? Now that I know, Yeah, Threads is not something you watch. It's not a Netflix and chill movie.
No, it's not. Oh, it's worth like it's actually a horror movie in a lot of ways, in
Yeah.
more ways than one.
Well, I mean, but you can do that. Sometimes there are movies that are helpful for just cutting past everything and knowing if someone wants to be in a relationship with you. And for some people, that might be Threads.
Right. Yeah, I haven't switched over to it. I don't really do Twitter that much. Like I only use Twitter to like talk to like there's this band that I follow called Velocity Girl. You know, and I only like follow them and like a few other people, like Steve Shives is on it, but other than that, I don't fucking use Twitter. There's
Yeah, I haven't logged into my Twitter in over 3 years, I think, at this point. It's been 3 years since I logged in at all.
I'm actually ditching a lot of social media because it's becoming too much. Like I was never one of those people that like social media is like bad, but I'm just like on Instagram, it's like people like do their like handmade art and I'll get like maybe like 10 likes, but then you'll have this girl twerking and she gets like 500 views. I'm like, what's the point? Well, then like, what's the point if we're rewarding dumbassery? Then why even?
Well,
I mean-
Tim Minchin has a great little song about how his careful construction of songs and stuff will never get as much attention as a cat falling asleep.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, to some degree, that's all of social media, and then every once in a while, some art actually makes it through. I don't know.
I think
Things are complicated.
social media like started off as like is like it's kind of like started off as like the early internet did back in like the late 90s. It was like you can talk with like scientists in Antarctica about their ice cores and you live in Florida. Like it was like I think it was literally meant to like bridge the world to some degree, but like over time as people like everything with capitalism is how can we make more money off of it, and over time it just became about nonsense. That's kind of like when people like talk about, oh, social media is a problem now. It's like it's always been a problem, but it's like how are you going to address it? Okay, well, it's like maybe people just need to stop using it less. And it's like, no, the problem is capitalism. It's all these corporations making money off of people's divisions, their fears, their insecurities, and all that, all of that. But no one wants to talk about it because no one wants to criticize capitalism. It's like the solution is looking you right is right there. Like it's not like a fix all solution, but it's just more people just need to get out more. Even like, okay,
You know who will never ever argue against capitalism despite the problems and despite basically the people on top aren't necessarily even good at capitalism, like Elon Musk, who
well, many of them don't.
Way to bring it back. Good.
I'm doing my best.
Is because every time there's like a corporation that wants to honor Gay Pride Month, and of course we can like debate like how like sincere they are about that, they always like scream like this is like cultural woke, like corporate wokeness, but this is capitalism. If they're trying to open up a new like market with a different group of people, that's technically, I mean, so they don't even know what capitalism is. So they just spout these like words because it engenders feelings in people. They don't really know what they mean.
Well, yeah.
True.
Like they'll say Biden is a communist, but Biden has never at once advocated for like the private ownership of a company. So
Oh, I wish that everybody on
Yeah.
the quote unquote left was as far left as they complain about.
Right. Yeah, but so it's just idiocy. And no, like Biden is not a communist, but it's when Democrats help people that they don't like, it's communism. It's typical white people, like, oh, they want to take my stuff and give it to someone else that could benefit them, therefore it's bad. That's it's bullshit like that. But yeah, Elon Musk and autism. I guess if we want to talk about that now, I guess. I don't want to start first. I'll let someone else go.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
technically you're the guest, but yes, whoever wants to go can go. Whoever feels comfortable.
Elon Musk is bad at autism.
I agree. And it's the problem with it is because a lot of non-autistic, is it called autistic or neurotypicals? What's the appropriate term for people who are not on the spectrum?
Whichever one you like.
Okay, so neurotypicals are really bad at giving people role models, from what I can tell. They're really bad at it because they just say this person who is in the spotlight is good at this. Therefore, you who is not in that position should look up to that person as inspiration. But the thing about Elon Musk is he's not, like, he came from wealth. This isn't some guy who, worked at a McDonald's for a while and then he somehow got $100 billion somewhere. Because we all know working at McDonald's, you'll get $100 billion by the time you're 40.
Wait,
So,
are you saying that you can't just go and invade African emerald mines and get tons of money?
I can't. I don't really want to because that's not my thing. So yeah, and not only that, but apartheid South Africa too. Like, I mean, like, come on, really? So it's like, yeah. So yeah, neurotypicals like to tell, because I've actually dealt with this personally. This isn't just me like bitching about something. No, I've had neurotypicals or autistic people say, Elon has autism. What do you think? I'm like, I don't think, because I think it's phony. I think this is a problem. Mostly towards autistic men, because of course it's channeled to autistic men. So autistic women don't even get a say in this most of the time. Most of his fanboys are men. Unfortunately, obviously, no, it's terrible because you are trying to market to a group of people who are already in an underclass to say you can be with these people if you are smart enough, and that's just not true. Because neurotypicals will never give us the resources to be successful. So so how do you expect some people on the who are already in an underclass, who are not served, to then be successful, unless you then tell them to just put the work in, which they do, but they're still not getting successful. I'm sorry,
Well,
so.
On top of that, I was going to say that the society being built around the neurotypical structure makes it so that affects whether or not people want you in the job, or whether or not they consider what you do to be worthwhile, even if you're doing what you're supposed to in the job.
Right. So yeah, it's I mean, and it's kind of annoying a lot of times too, because it's also like a stereotype that they have about people on the spectrum, that they're all like geniuses. And Elon Musk, to me, is not a genius. He's not. I don't really think he's really that smart necessarily. Because like the guy doesn't like really like communicate that he's smart, in my opinion. Like if someone like asked him what delta V is, delta V is like a mathematical formula that calculates spacecraft propulsion. I don't think he would know what that means. I know what it means on a vague level because because as a hobby I study like spacecraft propulsion and stuff, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I have no I had no idea anything about Delta V.
If he's a genius,
not-
it's
it's
an
not-
exploitation.
Yeah.
It's not a Helen Reddy song from the 70s.
I know, and to be fair, even some of my knowledge about gene transformation is like fading because I've never had the resources to be able to do anything with that knowledge or whatnot. But yeah, no, I think he's good at exploitation, but he's also good at playing around with stock market reactions for the purposes of making money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is something he has some talent with, but he's also egotistical enough to make a major mistake, like trying to back out of Twitter and not being allowed to back out of Twitter, and then having to spend ridiculous sum of money to acquire Twitter, which he then has burned to the ground as quickly as he could.
Right. And see, another thing too about it is a lot of the things that he does that people want to like, and God, I fucking hate when they do this. Like they want to excuse his antics as, oh, he's autistic. But then it's like, yeah, but see, but see, in the real world or in the working world, you don't get to do that. Like, I don't get to like harass a woman because I know we've kind of talked about this before, where like I've had issues with women. I don't get to continue to like pester a woman that doesn't want to talk to me and say, oh, I'm autistic, so I don't know what romance, no, that's not an excuse. So if I was to do anything that if any autistic person did any of the things, especially a poor autistic person, any of the things that Elon Musk did, they would be fired. That whole Titter thing he did about a woman's breast, yeah, you would have been fired for that, and rightfully so. So don't bring his autism in when this guy does something like ridiculous and stupid. I don't want to hear it.
I will say I am aware there's certain companies, if you are white, there's certain companies and certain managers who would probably look the other way for a certain period of time with that bullshit.
Right.
Or whatever, which sucks that managers are awful like that, 'cause sexism is still a factor with regards to management or whatnot.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's horrible. And what it does is, whether it's Elon Musk or Andrew Tate or whatever these people are, it sets men, like men who are like on the spectrum, but just I guess men in general to some degree. It tells them that everything is yours if you just want to fight for it, and that's not the world we live in. It never really has been. But like they have a lot of like unrealistic expectations, and a lot of men on the spectrum who are looking for like they want to feel connected, they want to feel empowered. They get a lot of bad advice and a lot of bad information, and it's really bad because then when it doesn't work out the way they think it will, they then start blaming people, women, minorities, LGBT folks, people like that. And that's where you get a lot of these like mass shooters and stuff. It's a lot of like unfulfilled promises that a lot of these men make, like these like wealthy men make to like poor men, so they can get them to do something stupid, and all they'll just sit back and say is, well, I just said something on the internet. I didn't tell them to go kill people. I just, So it's terrible because that's the world we're living in now. And I wish a lot of men on the spectrum just like it just accepted who they were and stopped trying to like stop trying to like look up to people that are like that are just terrible and don't have your don't have your best interest at heart. And I'll say one more thing before I give the floor off to someone else who wants to talk. The way they treated Greta Thunberg, and I don't know how everyone feels about Greta Thunberg, but the way they treated her versus the way they treated Elon shows me how much like misogyny and sexism still exists towards women who have autism, because like all the shit she got for what she said versus all the bullshit Elon does, and people just eat that up like it's like ice cream. We still have a lot of misogyny to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, I have, other than the misogyny stuff, which is there's a lot to say on that, but
Yeah.
the one of the things about being autistic is in order things have to make sense to us in order for us to accept them.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons why socialism is more prominent amongst autistic people, but it also can backfire in something like Elon. I was thinking of it as we were talking about capitalism itself. It's if you're a white guy in pre-apartheid or in apartheid South Africa, thinking that you deserve what you get is something that probably made sense to him. I mean, undeservedly.
Yeah.
One would assume he's relatively smart, and I mean, I've seen no evidence of it, but
Well, I mean, intelligence is also subjective. I just haven't heard him like espouse anything like technical. He just like he'll go, like, let's say he'll go to like a SpaceX plant and he'll say, well, we got this and they're building that, and but he never like explains the science behind it. Like when I see like his starship he wants to make to get us to Mars, I'm like, this doesn't look really comfortable to get us to Mars. Just
is that the Dick ship?
Yeah, the Dick ship.
Okay.
Well, it depends. Jeff Bezos has a Dick ship.
I can't remember what people are flying, what rich people are flying to try to
Well, so Elon's is like it's silver on one part, then it's like black on the other end. So it's like a big black dildo on a stick, on a metal stick. So maybe Elon has a kink. I don't know. Funny enough, because I mean he comes from a racist country, so. Yeah, he never like explains anything. He just basically says, well, there's this car here, there's this, and like, I don't know. He never really explains anything.
When he does sound halfway smart, it doesn't take long for like Twitter to come to life with a whole bunch of experts who say he didn't use the words correctly. Like, he knows words, but he didn't use them correctly and doesn't actually know what he's talking about when he does try to sound technical.
Right. Like, let's say like I was a CEO of a space company. I would say, yeah, the Jupiter 5 has a combined thrust of X amount of newtons, so we can use that to then slingshot to the moon, using technical like a drawing, and then we can like orbit here look, you know, and then go down to the surface there. Like I could say those things because, and I, you know, I'm not like a huge scientist, but like I know terms relative to each other. Much of it is because of, you know, being autistic. I was a huge space nerd. I knew a lot about satellite codes and things like that. You know, like GOES, which is geosynchronous orbital environmental system. That's a weather satellite, right? I don't think Elon would know that because and he doesn't like strike me as smart. I'm sorry. He just has a lot of money and he gives people money to do shit and then he can claim it. So
Well, yeah,
I said relatively smart.
He is good at buying companies. He's not necessarily good at running companies. He's also good. He also makes sure to try to create a name for himself by setting things up so companies are retroactively worded. There's something in wording or whatnot. He did it with Tesla. He's done it with other companies where he makes it seem like he was a part of the founding of the company.
I wanted to see him get his ass kicked by Mark Zuckerberg. That's what I wanted.
Wait, is that not happening?
Not gonna get that.
is that not happening?
No, his mom said that he can't.
Okay, but his mom can't actually stop him.
I knew these.
No, but
I knew these two idiots were gonna fight. I think we were just getting. I didn't think they were gonna fight because like no, it's stupid. But
even the country of Italy, like the country itself, was like, "Do it in the Colosseum. We'll let you." Like, who does that? Who gets that opportunity? You would think that it would be like egging on Elon. Like, I don't know. He has to have at least one friend who is like me, who would look at the guy and go, "What are you going to let your mom tell you can't?"
Isn't Italy like under like kind of like a weird fascist like a
Yes.
sheep?
Yeah, like a she-Trump.
Although there is something kinky about like authoritarian, like really authoritarian women. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, I'm on.
Not in real life. See, this is the difference between role play and real life.
Role play. That's
role play is always going to be potentially better for things like that. Real life, there's a lot of abuse that's going to occur from that.
Yes.
Also, like she's a her name is Giorgia Maloney. I call it Giorgio Baloney, but whatever. She's into like the Lord of the Rings. Good God, she's like so. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Anyway, moving on.
Well, at least it's not Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but she's also big into supporting the Mussolini or big into talking about the good things that Mussolini did. So, more very bad.
Funny enough, that she actually came to Florida. And she did that because like she's all into that woke bullshit too. Like everything is woke, and she copied like DeSantis's playbook. So like they Italians, they got, I don't know. I don't want to say something that's ethnically insensitive.
What is it with global conservatives right now? Why are they all like really so freaked out? They're really frothing, like more so than normal. And they're getting, is it because they're just, I don't know, losing power and so they're panicking about it?
Yes, because the order is dying. There's like more gay folks, there's more people of color, like they're like if I saw Giorgio Bologna on the street and I just like show her a girl in pink hair, she's like yeah, like I don't know. It's just I don't know. it's like some old order that and like I don't know.
Well, I don't think they realized how. I think because the internet made the world change, because it made it harder to ignore stuff. So I think things changed faster than they were expecting.
Yeah.
And I think they got not complacent, because they did still manage to put active effort into solidifying aspects of authoritarian power, but I think they suddenly realized how much trouble they were in, and they also got inspiration from Trump. Trump's victory, I think, helped.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
Yeah, Trump definitely gave a lot of people, like a lot of right wingers, like they're like, yeah, he has a point. I'm saying like based on like yeah, it's I don't know, it's weird. Italy has it. Viktor Orban, he's I don't know if he, like next to Putin, he's just terrible. Just a lot of crazy shit. Actually, in Florida, speaking of my home state where I'm from, I know Texas is not any better, Ozma, but speaking of where I live, it's we actually.
I'm in Minnesota, so.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the excessively safe state that's trying its best to see if it can be the most left-wing state in America. So I was just briefly in Texas in a protest.
The lucky place.
Yeah.
I'm in one of the sucky states. I'm in one of those red states that's got a jackass like Kirsty Gnome in charge of it.
I don't know who's that. Who's Christy Gnome?
I call her Krusty Gnome.
Okay,
they call her. What was it that Rolling Stones called her? The Sarah Palin of the Prairie.
What state is this?
This is South Dakota.
Oh God, that's terrible. I guess
she's open. She's open about ruling with theocratical beliefs. Like she knows that she's doing it, and she doesn't care.
Yeah. I think our governor is like legit the worst in the country. I think.
Very likely.
Like like this like this guy is he's so horrible. He was going to find the Special Olympics, because the Special Olympics was supposed to do something in Florida. He was going to fine them like $500,000 if they had a mask mandate. Like this guy is just evil. This guy is evil. I've hoped there's
that is evil.
Yeah, like I sometimes like hope, and I'm gonna say this in code so we don't get flagged. Like if he's on like his private jet with his family, I'm like, there has to be some Canadian geese somewhere.
So what you're saying is you want to do what Indiana Jones's dad did in The Last Crusade.
No, I want to do.
I remember that.
So I actually have not seen that, but you know,
what?
You haven't seen that? Okay, so like
you haven't seen Indiana Jones
scene,
and the Last Crusade? That's like the best one of the Indiana Jones movies.
There's a scene in there when there's an attack helicopter and they don't know what to do, so the Indiana Jones's dad, sorry, spoilers for a movie that's like 30 years old. Indiana Jones's dad takes his umbrella and starts scaring pigeons, and they all start flying, and they mess up the plane or whatever, and it crashes.
Okay. Well, I was thinking along the lines of that plane that got all those geese in that U.S. air flight, Sullenberger. I'm just like hoping like that happens to like DeSantis, and like the plane just crashes and explodes, and like it's so bad they can't even find his body. His body got just like it's like
Evaporated.
Okay, but like movie rules. No. They're look, movie rules. There has to be a body, otherwise he will show up again. And he's not actually dead. That's how it works. Every movie. Sorry.
I usually don't wish death on people like that, but that oh god. Like if he like died of poison, like just ate something bad, I'm just like I would just have, dude, if something like
you wish
oh god,
very bad luck on him.
Oh god. Oh, and like if that, see, he also there was a time when he like, this guy was so insecure, he actually like attacked, he didn't attack him, but he basically like put his finger in a bunch of kids' face when it came to wearing a face mask. I'm like, if that would have been me, that he would have been on the ground. You couldn't get oh dude, like fuck that. I've been in prison. I've had a horrible childhood. There'd be no way in the fuck I would let that guy put his finger in my face. I'd be like, yeah, wokeness. I'll show you how woke I am.
I have an issue of anybody putting their finger in my face. Like especially if it's a literal, somebody is standing there literally with their finger up.
Right.
And like, I don't care what point they're making, and I don't really care who they are. I have this, like, that is the last moment where my defiance disorder can no longer take it.
I would whoop his ass on national television. I don't give a fuck how many Secret Service he has around him. No.
I mean,
I'm serious too.
Yes, although his insecurity is also why he got in a fight with Disney, which that's just an amusing thing. That being said, I'll need to send everyone new links because I don't have a bank account or really disposable income at the moment. So one moment.
Which is me neither. So I cannot watch the Indiana Jones movie that you just said that I should watch.
I watched it during my stroke years, so I don't remember it at all.
Although, funny enough, I have Paramount Plus. Even though I haven't updated my payment method, I'm still able to watch Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So that's good.
That's good.
Yes, it is ending in like less than a minute, so it might.
Okay.
I need to deal with some laundry issues. Hold on.
Sure. Who is everyone? Right, I can. Okay, I'm gonna send links first. How's everyone doing in chat? I should take a look and actually mention that because I know there's stuff. Elon also posted a quote-unquote space arc with guards at the bottom of the image holding back black people with guns. Oh yeah, I remember that. I'm skimming to some degree. So of it, which Biden was half the bogeyman they claim he is. Yeah, I think we all do.
I think it holds true for just about everybody on the quote unquote left. I wish they were all as far left as the way that they get painted in the conservative media. Because they're using terms like communist and Marxist, and I'm like, man, I wish.
Hey, we're back, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, I don't usually hate people like a lot, but him, he's awful. That whole family messed up.
Back to Elon, who is also awful. I suppose it's unsurprising with Elon that he dove down the far right rabbit hole relatively quickly as soon as he took over Twitter. No, before he took over Twitter.
Yeah. Well, he's like lied a lot about saying that he's a Democrat, and no, most CEOs are not Democrats. Most of them aren't. But I will ask though about autism and I guess billionaires. Does anyone like Richard Branson? Virgin Galactic something.
I don't dislike him.
Okay.
I put them all in a general category. If they're making over $5 million a year, I believe that there's nothing that you can do that is good enough for me, in my mind, for somebody to make more than $5 million a year. And anybody who's making over that amount, they got there somehow, like exploitatively.
Yeah.
Or they won the lottery, which is which is almost nobody.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a reason. I shouldn't like Richard Branson, and I can't remember what it is. I feel like he's done something awful. I feel the need to look that up.
I'm just trying to figure out why. So he's going to charge you $400,000 to just go to outer space for 10 minutes. It's a lot of money for just like a 10-minute ride to space. I mean, I've been in an airplane, and I mean, you're obviously not anywhere close to that high, but it still looks pretty impressive. And
that's a lot of money to have your shit get fucked up forever because you decided to like go to outer space. It's not the same thing as taking an airline flight. Like, we take airline flights regularly.
Yeah, and like there's definitely like times it looks like outer space sometimes when you're in an airplane. I mean, not necessarily, but like I don't know. I would just be an astronaut and just go through that channel, because at least like you don't have to be that wealthy. But I don't know. Like I want to go to space, but I'm not going to pay $400,000 to do that. That's fucking stupid.
I'm not going any space anymore, and I'm getting out on a boat in the middle of the ocean. They just don't make boats big enough. Well, they don't make aircraft big enough to go into outer space.
Well,
for me.
Well, you guys know me. I'm a big space and all that shit. So I guess maybe that wouldn't be my problem, but I don't know. I just think like a lot of people on the spectrum are very like talented, but we're just not given the resources to shine. And then they expect us, to be like wealthy people, and that's just not going to happen. And so
they expect us to be able to exploit people the way they exploit people, and for most autistic people that doesn't happen because we've got this overdeveloped sense of justice. Like, this is a statistical fact. They know this now for a fact that autistic people have what is considered to be an overdeveloped sense of justice. Now, me personally, I can't understand why that is a bad thing. I see that as a good thing. I think that it means that the rest of the world should be setting their justice according to how autistic people feel about the world. If we feel like it's a completely unjust place to live in, which is how I feel about my country right now, then we should be listened to, heeded.
I think it's I think it's a bad thing because neurotypicals lie a lot. So they basically say be a good person, be just. But what they mean is be a good drone. Don't question the system. Don't talk about it. Don't raise objections. Just go with the flow. And maybe if you're good enough, maybe just maybe something will fall out of the sky and happen to you. But they don't really care a lot about justice. They just say it to keep us in check, so we don't question anything. So
And
that's
and the only thing falling out of the sky is a space X craft.
yeah.
I two things I want to say. The first is just that obviously I think autistic people, in terms of ranges of skills, it's going to vary depending on the person, and obviously I don't think people's value should be I always get concerned when it comes to the potential for people's value as a human being to be based off of skill. It's just something that crossed my mind in terms of potential for things. But the other thing is, that they would cherry pick the least moral autistic person as soon as neurotypicals would do anything related to listening to autistic people's morals. They'd be like, no, this person who does the things that I like,
right?
that
let's
autistic
use
person
Elon.
speaks for all autistic people.
And obviously neurotypicals do that shit all the time. Because here's the thing. Here's why neurotypicals do that. I actually figured this out. Neurotypicals are boring. They have boring interests. They are boring. They're boring. They get up, they go to work, that's it. They come home, that's it. Maybe they watch football, this is why a lot of them watch football or reality TV, because they want to be someone else. When they see an autistic person that could build a ship like I can, they're like, man, I wish I could do that. Let me live vicariously like a leech and be like, man, I wish I could be talented and whatnot. So what they'll do is, someone like Elon Musk, who has a lot of money, or someone who has a lot of money, neurotypicals are actually more closer to people that are nowhere close to them, because it's like that caveman instinct of, he has more seashells, he must be strong and smart, that. And it's like they gravitate to people like that, and then they look at us who are more just down to earth and morally upstanding. It's like, you should be like them because they're cool because they got money and shit. And it's like, okay, why?
As far as the putting this autistic person and saying they represent, you can see that already with this is a trans person and they agree with me.
Right.
Okay, but 99.9% of us don't,
Yeah, it's like he's not. Yeah, and a lot of, and I'm really glad that the autism community kind of shunned that, because Musk doesn't speak for us. He doesn't. Why would he? I don't even think Greta Thunberg speaks for us, and that's no.
Well, I think that when you're talking about justice, you have to factor in that the most just way to do things is also happens to be the most anarchist way to do things.
Right, exactly.
Which decentralizes any one person's power. I mean, it should be a cooperation of people. I think anyway, it's just like a community, only even more broad on a even larger scale. I think that's where we're evolving too. We've evolved from people who are so so open with their love that they actually will adopt outside species from themselves and bring them into the same living spaces. Like, that's kind of important. Like, that's a big thing. You don't see that very often in the natural world from one creature to another.
I mean, I have seen videos of a bunch of kitties and a puppy that the kitty pack is taking care of, and there's such stuff. Like I mean, it's in the natural. I feel like it's probably in the natural world to some degree.
Usually, though, in domesticated animals.
That might be the case. I don't. To be fair, I don't know. I'm going completely off of feelings here and not off of facts.
Like, we have bred so many animals to live together at this point. Like, a functioning ranch or farm is a really good example, because there's usually dogs and cats and horses and cattle and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Dogs may have domesticated themselves. Dogs are complicated. There's disputed.
Yeah.
There are theories about dogs having domesticated themselves, and that might be the case in terms of full domestication. But yeah, yeah, no, that might be the case. Just the I don't know. Domestication has layers, and yeah, I feel like I was gonna say something else though related to the topic at hand.
Well, one thing about being an autistic person talking to other autistic people, I do notice a lot of clarifications and caveats every time we make a point.
That usually deals with the accuracy of it, because generalizations are inherently less accurate than
I also
specifics.
I also think the whole thing about like neurotypicals accepting autism like as a difference is also bullshit too, because like Joey said, they only accept us because like we can do, like, it's still that whole they have a superpower thing. Like I said, when it comes to like me making model ships, it's like they wish they could do that, but they can't. So they see what I do as like a superpower, when it's just a unique thing I do. It's not a superpower. It's just
I have no special skills. I am very unremarkable in terms of anything. There are just certain things I obsessively researched.
Plus it's a lot of work that most people would consider tedious.
yeah.
So basically, a lot of practice goes into it. That,
Although I will say I'm self-taught with the stuff I do, so
yeah.
But yeah, I remember I was going to say something about hierarchies and the weird tacking on control to masculinity, but it probably would have been a bit of a side tangent.
yeah. Yeah, it's pretty shitty, honestly. It's like Elon's antics, especially like now. Also, he's a liar too. Because he likes to talk about how he wants to save the world, which is cringe just even on that point. But it's like the dude has lied. He says we're going to go to Mars, and no, we're not there. He's not like some scientist who's actually in his, like, no, this dude decided to buy Twitter if we're going to go to Mars, which is a very, 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 very complicated endeavor, why the fuck would you then sidetrack yourself with wanting to buy a social media company? That makes no sense.
Well, I still am of the opinion that he wanted to, he wanted to back out of the Twitter deal. I think the reason he did it was part of the stock market manipulation to get money in a different venture. That being said, they kind of forced him to actually go through with it. And also, since BB has asked how many autistic folks here, like everyone on the show is autistic or whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Elon has really set at least like the general public's understanding of him. I feel like we've kind of suffered under Elon, in my opinion, because it's like I don't know. I think because like it's so damaging. It's just so bad.
No.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know where to go from there. That's
well, I think the bad things are leading to, okay, so like there has been more union organizing in general. There are lawsuits going up against Elon. A lot more people. Some of the aspects of the illusion of Elon Musk have fractured now that he's since he's taken over Twitter. I think a lot less people are part of the Elon, the cult of Elon. And I think people are finding out about stuff and learning to some degree, and hopefully that will help move things to a more improved circumstances or whatever, as long as people can effectively organize.
I will say though, if I had that much money though, it's funny enough because like people like to say, if you had that much money, would you like buy like some stupid shit? And I'm like, not really. I would probably move out to the country and with like land, not really to raise animals, but just have like an open space, and I'll just have like a modest size house and just put all my cosplay shit there. Like,
I'm buying a town.
yeah.
I won the lottery. I'm buying a little town. I'm revamping it, making sure everything works and it's all nice and stuff like that. And then inviting everybody that I think is cool to live there. Because there's so many people I know that are cool, but they don't really have a good place to live.
Right.
And I think it would be cool to have a community of people that would be people you think are cool. Like, it'd be actually kind of nice to like walk down a town street and say hello to people that you actually want to know.
Yeah.
I'm egotistical enough to want to save the world, so like I mean I would still make sure I have a place to live or whatever, and people I care about, not a town, but like a multi-layer house or something, for everyone, or for several people to hang out with and give them money so there isn't a power dynamic, because there's always a concern with regards to things and power dynamics. And then try to build like a bunch of mutual aids that would function as cooperatives and try to get as much of that out there as I can. Mutual aids for food, mutual aid for housing. Just try to do as much as I can to mess with the capitalist structure. Or
Yeah.
at the very least, give people a safe enough area so that it's easier to unionize. And it being easier, it being less of a risk to unionize means it's that would make it easier to, I don't know, people's lives to get better.
Funny enough, I actually sold some artwork in a co-op. It was an autistic artist co-op, and I sold work
Oh,
like a model kit. So yeah, I mean,
nice.
when they kind of like say socialism doesn't work, I mean, it worked for us then, because like we didn't employ people to make our shit. So I guess it worked for us.
Mhm.
I think people don't try it, but I don't know.
I think people are done being scared of it if you look in younger generations, and I think that that's going to make a difference as people grow older. But right now you've got people who are in power who are all the older folks that are, Gen X and boomers, and those folks grew up during an era where it was still a lot of Red Scare, Cold War bullshit.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because if people were so afraid, because like weren't the Soviets afraid of capitalism, but they still got a McDonald's, so they weren't that afraid of it apparently. We came like it took us how long to get Obamacare? Like I don't know, like just like the mention of us doing something to help people, like Republicans like say it's socialist. But then it's like, these are the same people who like joined the military, which is socialist. It's like
Um,
it's three hots and a cot.
Military's complex. It depends on which part of the military, because if we're
Yeah,
talking
it's
about
kind of sort of
captains,
socialist. They're
well,
not paid that much though.
No.
so the people on the top, like officers, and that it moves drastically away from like lieutenant and up. It moves drastically away from whatchamacallit, not oligarchy, work based, like what you do actually matters or whatnot. And even then, it's not socialism as much as it is.
I hear people even say that even like the Soviet Union wasn't even socialist. It was more like a state capitalistic country. Like the state basically controlled everything. I don't know. I'm not really well versed on my Karl Marx, but I doubt it was what Karl Marx wanted things to be. In fact, I'm pretty certain it wasn't.
It was authoritarian, but I don't think it was capitalist until like after Stalin's death or something, but it's definitely authoritarian. Definitely not socialism because the people weren't in power. So
Well, the people are never in power. Like that's just never really a thing. It's usually just labels. Usually, it's like like Americans like to say capitalism benefits them, but like you're very poor. So how does it benefit you? Does it benefit you that you can just go to the store and I guess buy a flat screen TV? Is that what it is? Because I don't know.
well, people were inundated with capitalist propaganda.
Yeah.
There definitely was, there was capitalist propaganda, and also any country that was likely to become socialist or possibly was briefly socialist, was squashed by the CIA in like the 70s and 80s, especially in South America. I can't remember which country it was. There was a country that was basically at minimum doing social democratic stuff, but potentially was going like for actual socialism.
So, do you mean like Peru or Chile? Because those are the two that I can. Because if it's the Pinochet guy, that's Chile. I don't know what the Peruvian one.
I can't remember. This is where my knowledge is shaky on this. I've looked it up before, but possible. I'm leaning towards Chile, but
It's Chile, not Chile, not chili cheese dog. It's Chile.
Chile.
There's a country in Africa called Niger, but it's spelled Niger. I'm not kidding.
No,
I always thought it was pronounced Niger.
Yeah, it may be, but I've heard Niger too.
it's Niger.
Yeah, okay. I don't know because I guess it sounds so close to, the other word.
Mhm.
So Niger is a little bit too close for comfort. So we'll go with Niger.
Well, it kind of depends on what language that they speak there.
Right, that's true too.
French.
Because if they speak French, then it's definitely Niger.
Yep.
But if
And
you're
people just mispronounce it, but you never know because, like, here I live in a state where the capital is a French word that you do not pronounce as if it is French. You pronounce as if you are English mispronouncing a French word.
what's the capital?
They call it Pierre.
Here.
It's Pierre. It's
Right.
Pierre. It's literally spelled like Pierre, the French word, the French name, but they pronounce it Pierre.
Here.
And they get really upset with you in South Dakota if you pronounce it anything other than Pierre.
That's like that's like the teacher I had once in high school who constantly whose name, his last name was Wagner, and I kept wanting to say Wagner because I took German in high school. and that's where it's from. That's probably how it was originally pronounced, but because a lot of people's names were changed were Americanized or whatever after coming to America, that's part of how you end up with a lot of that stuff.
I got a lot of shit one time. This was actually when I was like a little kid. I used to say, because people call it Uranus. It's called Uranus, but I always used to call it Uranus. And my teacher would get really pissed. I was like, it's Uranus. I'm like, okay, it's Uranus. I didn't understand the bathroom humor back then.
I hate to do this, but I have to duck out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No,
I'll remember
no
to
one can
ask
talk.
everyone, is there any at this time, is there anything you want to promote before you go?
No, there's no way to find me. There's nothing I'm promoting. I'm just me.
Okay. Take care.
Talk to you in a bit. Bye.
Bye, Christy.
Bye, Christy.
No, you're out of here. Okay.
But yeah, and also looking up Wikipedia, I'm still leaning towards Chile. that overthrow. That went on. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. I hope I don't know what's going to win out with regards to the social media wars that are going on right now, but I hope at the very least that Twitter and I hope that Twitter, basically anything done by Musk and Zuckerberg, I hope they do not win.
I don't really give a fuck either way because I don't use Twitter that much anyway, so I don't care. Honestly, this is just my opinion, but like I honestly just don't give a fuck. Honestly, like if these two idiots want to fight each other, I'm like, or whatever. They're gonna do it even without me anyway, so I don't really give a fuck either way.
I hope they do.
He's too egotistical.
Just for entertainment, just the pure entertainment portion of me that like it doesn't matter who would win and who would lose. I'm going to have some amount of schadenfreude that these two just asses decided to get into the ring with each other when neither one of them should be in a ring. Neither one. Like, I'm sorry. They're both a couple of pasty, just absolutely exploitative jerk-offs. And I would just like to see them get exploited for once. Like,
I would, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't, yeah, like I said, yeah, whatever. I noticed you were very savage with those like sub memes a couple weeks ago, and then you got into like an argument with one of my like friends on Facebook. I don't know. I tried to be like, hey,
no, that was because your friend on Facebook came for Mehmet. It wasn't that I had anything against your friend on Facebook. It's the way that person came for Mehmet. Mehmet came on there talking about billionaires that you don't know personally and saying that you know, he didn't care that what happened to them and he thought it was a good thing actually. And it was your friend, the way that they came for Mehmet. They came for him personally and started making fun of his intelligence as a human being.
Right.
And that's gone too far for me. That's ableist. That's unjust. That's injustice. And it's...
Well,
I blocked them. Like, I briefly made fun of them for just being a total jerk and block them. And that person came with another account and came after me personally at that point.
Now that's
gone way too far.
Right?
Yeah.
Now
that's now harassment.
Yeah, that's stalking now.
Yeah, that is bad. Although the submarine thing was still funny, and it is funny watching billionaires do foolish stuff, but because usually they're exploiting people. So
I do gotta ask, why were so many people like wanting to then bootleg these people? I don't like. I'm gonna be honest.
No, it's almost like people can't even tell the difference between just people that you don't know, people who would never, because these are the kinds of people that wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire.
Right.
And that's because they just really do not care that much about other people, just in general, just in a very general sense. These are not humanists we're talking about. It's rare to find a billionaire humanist, and usually a billionaire humanist is no longer a billionaire. They're usually only a millionaire because their trust fund is just barely keeping them afloat while they're giving literally everything else away.
Sure.
Um,
It's just maddening because, you know, when people have that much money and then there's people like us that we can barely pay our bills, and you know, there's, I mean, obviously paying the bills and shit, that's obviously like obvious, we got to do that, but then like, you know, we can't like do our hobbies that we probably could make like a side hustle. It's just grating, that's what it is. More
well,
than
it's I mean, the white supremacists. It's a mixture of it's a mixture of white supremacist hierarchies of people in power like being viewed as deserving it somehow, or being viewed as an ideal or whatnot. So capitalism and white supremacy.
yeah.
Um,
You know, you can't really go anywhere in a discussion about autism when you add in Elon Musk, except for white supremacy and capitalism. Like they go with each other.
They do. um
I mean, the guy would not have his money had it not been for white supremacy and capitalism. We wouldn't be discussing him right now. Like, he would just be some normal autistic dude someplace and probably be a lot more probably in agreement with us more often.
So,
I
yeah. So is anyone, I guess, switching topic to, I guess, something totally off topic?
That's
Is
fine.
anyone making plans to see the new Barbie movie? I have an opinion.
No, but I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah.
I want to see it, but I've got no specific plans.
I want to watch it. Okay, so I'm probably gonna watch it stone when I get it on DVD first. Yeah, I probably would watch it. I'm not. I mean, obviously, I'm not a. Okay, well, guys can be into Barbie too, right? Again,
Mhm. Anyone can be into Barbie. Like,
I was gonna say I'm not a girl, but that kind of sounds a little bit dated, so I didn't want to like use that term.
yeah, and that's the thing about there's like so many layers of conditioning. So like being aware of it and just like the self-reflection and trying to understand and try to be a better person is always like a good thing.
That's
Just
the
in
other.
general.
Yeah, well, like what I just did, like, see, like I just said, I like boys are into bar, but then I was like, okay, see, like that would be woke to other people, but that's just me like understanding. Okay, I mean, I guess there's guys that are into Barbie. I mean, okay, sure.
I will need to
I
send the
was
final
never
link.
into Barbie when I was a little kid. My older sister had a collection.
Yeah. Uh, and, oh wait, show captions. There we go. I know I was forgetting one thing. Yeah. Okay. Uh,
I will say, and I always say everyone comes on. I will say I definitely have started to have a big crush on Margaret Robbie over all of a sudden.
Who?
Margot Robbie. She plays Barbie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a Australian actress. She's been in like a bunch of movies.
She played
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of another movie off the top of my head
I liked her.
that she's been.
I liked her in Pan Am. There used to be a show on TV called Pan Am, which was about the stewardesses from like Pan Am Airlines. So really
Vaguely
like that.
remember that.
So yeah, Christina Ricci. Is it Ricci or Ricci?
I always thought Ricci.
Thought it was Ricci, but it could
Ricci.
be Ricci.
It's a
Maybe. It looks Italian to me, so and that would be Ricci.
right. Yeah, I think it's Ricci, honestly.
To be fair, sometimes you get a name in your head and you're just like, that's how it's pronounced, and then like they say it or whatnot, and it's like not that, and like even commentators like say the name wrong, and you're just like,
That's an interesting point because so Alicia Silverstone, who is on Clueless, by my poster in the red dress, it's not pronounced Alicia. It's pronounced. She says Alicia.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, now you've brought up movies, and my brain is still on Dune Part 2, even though that's like months from now.
There's also like memes going around like of the Barbie movie and like the Oppenheimer movie coming out around the same time, and there's been like about both of those. Joey may have seen it on my page.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there's like it's like Barbie, it's Barbenheimer. That's the meme. Yeah, it's like they're trying to like make like a meme with Barbie and Oppenheimer, which is kind of funny because
Oh, I think I've seen it. Yeah.
both Barbie and Oppenheimer are kind of like in the same era if you actually look at it to some degree. And I mean, obviously the Oppenheimer one is a little bit more earlier, but yeah, they're both like they both deal
How
with
long has Barbie been around?
since
Like, what is Barbie's history?
since like the late 50s, I want to say. That's like when the first
I thought it was early 50s. Maybe I could be way off. You could be right.
Is
And I kinda-
Barbie a boomer?
she would be. It's kind of like I kind of like joke with some of those memes and think like either like conservatives saw what Barbie was and they wanted to nuke it, or that Barbie is like some alien. Barbie like invades Earth and she's like this like undefeatable opponent that they have to like make this special weapon to destroy Barbie. And,
You're correct. Late 50s, 1959
right.
was
Wow.
Well, Barbie was like meant to like be like an example of American capitalism. That's why they made it. It's kind of the same reason why they put in "God We Trust" in the pledge. It was to stop them atheist commies. Some bullshit. Which is funny because I mean Jesus is kind of commie in some areas, so
yeah. Well, they specifically oh my god, I can't remember his name. There's a person who is known as something. Was it like the I'm trying to think of prophet synonyms. What do you call I wasn't born and raised Christian. I was born and raised Jewish. What do you call the apostle? That was it. The apostle of rich people, I think was his nickname. or apostle of billionaires or millionaires. It's something like that, but it's early in the 30s. There's this person who got who helped create the version of Christianity that has a bunch of capitalism tied into it. Like this sort of Christian Christo-fascist capitalist type stuff. Essentially the groundwork was started during the Great Depression.
Right. Well, there was a lot of nutty shit that came out in the Great. Like, there were people who blamed it on Jews, because of course they did.
James Fifield Jr.
Yep.
He
Was
nicknamed
also-
the Apostle of Millionaires. Essentially instrumental in ushering the unholy alliance of corporate-funded Christianity and Christian identity politics in the United States.
Was it also the guy that also said a bunch of like anti-Semitic bullshit too?
I don't know how much. I don't know about that. I know Ford, definitely, was a major reason for the rise of the neo-Nazis in America. I can't remember the book. Ford promoted some sort of book with the propaganda style that's for neo-Nazis.
I remember what you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of the book.
Yeah, but like James Fifield was the guy who essentially took select verses from the Bible and tied them to capitalistic principles. So the reason for Christianity being tied to capitalism is, in America, at the very least, is largely James Fifield Jr. Due to him and due to the corporate
Isn't he
sponsorship.
credited with like the beginning of the prosperity gospel?
Possibly.
Isn't he basically the start of that whole movement?
Possibly. I can't remember the. Yeah, I can't remember everything that he did. I just know that he's a major factor for the capitalism and Christianity being tied together, because Christianity does naturally lend more so towards socialism, but with stuff like, I don't know, rich people not being allowed in heaven, and like a poor person giving a penny means more than like effectively a poor person giving a penny means more than a rich person giving like $1 million, because of how much more impact that has on the person's life or something to that effect. And yeah, and yeah, the anti-bank stuff, and there's a lot of anti-rich people stuff in the Bible. It's just look, Fifield got a lot of corporate sponsorship, and there are rich people
Well,
out
isn't
there.
the character of Christ himself, isn't he supposed to be pretty much like a socialist? Like,
yeah,
I don't know what comic book you read that in. I mean, possibly, yeah. I mean, but see, the thing about the Bible is it was written by human beings, so they can obviously change it if they want. That's why it's hard to follow it, because it's such a changeable document. So,
well, people cherry pick whatever they want to out of that book, because I've seen people who like been such awesome, great, wonderful people, and they can quote the Bible and they talk about the Bible all the time, and blah blah blah, and not in a way so that you feel like you're getting preached at, but just people who genuinely enjoy the Bible and fancy themselves as going by Christ's teachings, like they're saying the same thing as genuine fucking assholes like out of the Westboro Baptist Church who are completely hate-filled, bigoted people. And they can also pick all kinds of passages out of the Bible. And there is a ton of violence in that book. Like,
oh, the Bible is all about abortion. I don't know if anyone knows that.
I'm pretty sure that God like aborted, what is it, pretty much everybody except for Noah and his gang.
He also there's also a part of the Bible that says take the children and bash their heads against the stones.
Jeez.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, no, you can definitely cherry pick. If generally yeah, generally it's things get more complicated with stuff because every religion cherry picks to some degree or whatnot.
Well, if they've got holy scriptures, then yeah, that's true. But there's plenty of people out there with religions that don't have holy scriptures, and so they're not being cherry picked.
That's true.
You're just like the ones that I grew up with. There's no holy book. You're kind of on your own, and it's up to you and how you interpret how life is supposed to be interpreted in a good way. And you're basically having to take full responsibility for all of your actions because there isn't a holy thing. There's no scripture. There's no, this is exactly the rules that you're supposed to live by. It's a lot more complicated than that in Lakota teachings.
It's all about that don't really make any sense, honestly.
Well, and also in terms of the exactness, that's going to be based off of a lot of Christian churches. I get the impression that they're set up in a much more authoritarian manner. I don't know. I grew up with like Reformed Judaism and stuff, and they're just very much like you read it, you get your own meaning from it or what you feel like you interpret it how you want to type thing. There was never a strict this is exactly how it is. My dad would be more well aware of that. He grew up before he converted to Judaism, he grew up with like Seventh-day Adventism. So if any part of Christianity is going to take everything literally, it's Seventh-day Adventism.
Oh, is that their deal?
Yes, it is. Everything is
like literalist.
Literalist and exact, and which is why my dad converted, because there were contradictions.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that you get being an atheist pretty quick is you realize that, especially in the United States and atheists in the United States, they're typically ex-Christians and they typically know a lot more about the Bible than your average Christian does.
Well,
that's like one of the common things that you hear as an atheist in ex-Christian circles is you get to hear about all the different parts of the Bible that are just arguments against itself. Like you can just...
And I'll go further and agree with you on that, Joey. I used to actually be I used to be a Christian. And I see, for me, I funny enough, because I was raised in a black church, which is more emotive than other churches tend to be. I just didn't feel the connection to it. Everyone else was just like, and I'm just like sitting there looking like, okay. So and then like I just never felt it the way other people did. So I don't know. And then like I wanted to like go to a more, I guess, like hip and multi-ethnic church, and it actually pushed me away because the pastor was just a bigoted asshole. Yeah, he said that Michael Sam, who was the first openly gay football player to, I guess, play football, I guess. I mean, football is already pretty I mean, you got men with thick thighs and running around with balls in their hands. So I mean, it's already, But he said that that's meant to be a joke, I guess. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I was just, my brain was already on. Yeah, no, and there's still like all the homophobia still in the culture, and hey, what about that esport player that came out? That was interesting. Or that League of Legends esport player that came out recently, or whatever. And so my brain might be all over the place.
Yeah. Well, so when he said Michael Sam was the first openly gay football player, he was like, and that is why our country sucks, because Michael Sam is gay. And I'm like, okay. Damn, God must not have anything to do. But that wasn't that the reason how I became
God's just a busybody.
Yeah, he's just like, what the fuck? He's just lazy.
Always up in everybody's business, just way too much.
Yeah.
That being said, we are past time, and we should probably wrap up.
I do have one more thing to add.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
The reason why I became an atheist is because I did have a pastor tell me that my autism was because of the first sin. I did have a pastor tell me that. Of course, it was an old white guy, so duh.
Yeah, but like okay, so like there's the ableism element, and the I hate that. I hate that so much. Because there's an attitude of just it's your fault for your disability. That whole
basically
stuff. Either that or your brain is twisted because you have a disability or whatever. That's the other potential awful thing that definitely is. Yeah. Cool. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now
I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
I do know Christians who have autistic kids, and they're like dolls to them. So I'm like, I mean, I guess it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
That guy was just so.
So, is there anything you want to promote? And
me?
Yeah. Any last words? Anything you want to promote? Whether it be your stuff, whether it be something you like, whatever it be, like whatever.
Not really. It's kind of the same stuff that probably like some random geek has stated, or on the other shows that I'm on. So it's the same. I mean, I think I told you guys I'm running a movie. At least I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm going to.
Oh, I totally missed that.
It's about killer moths.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like a horror movie, or they're actually actual killer moths that I should be afraid of?
It's a horror movie.
Okay.
It's like one of those like dumb popcorn movies from like the early 90s, like Mosquito, or like it's like these moths like eat some toxic waste and they become as big as my hand and they have teeth and they just
okay.
They swarm and they kill people. It's just dumb, stupid shit like that.
Yeah, but like doing stuff.
But that's fun.
Yeah, that's where everyone starts out. Nobody starts out an expert at anything. Everyone starts out with something where it's just like, hey, we should do this. Let's go do it. So
Yeah.
I hope you can find a way to work that out or whatnot. And yeah.
Well, another thing about being autistic is you don't have resources. So I can write the damn thing. I just don't know who to give it to.
I mean, fair. I I can't think of potential connections at the moment. If I have any or whatnot. Whatever. Joey. Oh yeah, Isaiah, where can people find you? I forgot to ask that. That was the other thing I usually ask.
So I got a new phone a couple of months ago. So it's not Cult Culture 92 anymore because I can't remember my fucking password. It's my new account is Isaiah Taylor 60. So that's ISIAHTAYLOR and then 60.
Yes, and I think that might be in the description if I did my job right.
Yes.
Okay. Joey, where can people find you, and is there anything you want to promote?
I don't have anything to promote except for maybe Social Justice Alchemy, which usually happens way earlier at, well, noon Mountain Time, whatever that is, Eastern. What is that, Eastern?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. I couldn't make it because I was working.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I don't know when I'll be back. I'm trying to get a job where I don't work on the weekends anymore and just work on the weekdays. So I may be gone for a couple Sundays. I'm not sure, but we'll see. If I'm there, if I'm around, I'm around, obviously. But if I'm not there, that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Joey?
Nope.
Okay. You can find me here and everywhere that I type Ozma In The Dark, although oftentimes not doing much in anything, because I'm trying to deal with life stuff. There won't be a show next week. I'll figure out where things are after that. I have to deal with changing up medication so I can deal with my anxiety so I can more effectively get more self-care related stuff, get my place clean, get
Deal with anxiety right here.
yeah, I look, things are complicated because everything is relating to things are complicated with my medication. That is a potential end goal. Figuring stuff out. Stuff isn't legal here until August, and the only option would be the medical route here at the moment to acquire it legally and easily. But that being said, that is a potential end goal, but maybe we'll figure stuff out. I'm gonna talk with my psychiatrist. Anyways, have a wonderful time. You're take care of yourself. Life matters,
voice.
your voice matters, and you matter.
That's what I
if
think.
I got the order wrong, Christy can say something about that. Anyways, bye everybody.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Oops, no.